Hello, everybody out there in podcast world and podcast land. Welcome to the Two True Podcast with your boy Justin, J. Will, whatever you want to call me. Yes, yes, yes. I'm back. 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 I know you guys missed me, man. I missed you too. I missed you just as much. Had a few things going on. Had some family up here, so I was kind of busy with that. And I'm sorry for lying to you guys. I promise I didn't do it on purpose. I promise you I didn't do it on purpose. All right, forgive me. Forgive me for telling you something wrong. All right, that's a little inside joke. Y'all know nothing about that. But forgive me. Okay? I'm so sorry for not dropping something on Friday. My intentions was to drop something on Friday, but things didn't go how I envisioned it going. I'm going to just say that. Okay? So, anyway, I'm back, man. Two True Podcast. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Got a lot of things I want to say. Got a lot of things I want to speak on, man. Of course, you guys know I speak on that draft, man. Baker Mayfield going number 1 overall. Y'all know I'm about to get into that. Okay? Gonna get into the draft. Give you guys some of my opinions, my reactions. I'm not gonna do that little corny. Oh well, you know this team here gets an A+, and this team gets an A-. This team gets a C+. This team gets a C-. I really like that. I really like that guy out of Idaho in the 7th round. So that's the steal of the draft. No. I ain't gonna do that. I'm just gonna give you guys some quick hits, some quick opinions. I'm gonna talk about the main stories coming out the draft. So we'll definitely get into that. And since the last time we talked, a lot has gone on in the NBA, man. OKC. Looking shaky, baby. In conceited voice. Looking shaky out here in these streets, man. Russell Westbrook looking shaky, man. Playoff P. What's up, Playoff P? Shoot. Get into that. And, LeBron doing what he does best. Stuffing that stat sheet. Getting past the Pacers and whatnot. Just get into all that NBA action, man. I give you guys the lowdown, give you guys my thoughts and opinions on that. But before I start this off, let me tell y'all something, man. Tell y'all what's been going on with me lately. Funny story, I guess I should say. Just a couple hours ago, I managed to open my mailbox, and I saw. Y'all ready for it? I managed to see a wasp. Okay, Justin, what are you talking about, man? Wasp. Not only did I see a wasp, I saw a wasp building a nest. Okay, so this is where my National Geographic, my animal knowledge, insect knowledge, this is where my lack of knowledge shows right here. Now, what it looked like is, I think that it was a queen wasp. Am I saying it right? A queen wasp, queen, whatever. And I guess she found my mailbox, the inside of my mailbox, as a decent place to build her nest or whatever. So she decided to post up there. Now the funny thing is, y'all, now I can definitely say, speaking from experience last year, like last summer, last spring, or whatever. I mean, I've opened my mailbox sometimes, and I mean, there has been like times where there's been a wasp in there. Okay, it is what it is. It happens from time to time. They get in there. They may get in there and they don't know how to get out, or they may try to, I don't know, they just end up in there, is what I'm saying. So it's not the first time that I've seen a wasp in my mailbox. Now, this is the first time that I've seen a wasp trying to build a nest in my mailbox. Now, of course, I had to go ahead and get rid of that right there. I went to the store because I ran out of wall spray. Okay, I managed to have some, but I didn't feel like it was enough. Now I understand that it was only one wasp. Like, I don't think it wasn't a nest full of wasps or anything of that nature. It literally was just one wasp, and she was just kind of clinging on to the nest or whatever. Okay, but I didn't know. I wanted to be for sure, that I had enough firepower to get rid of it. So I went to the dollar store and I got me some more. Okay, I even got the Raid Max. See, I didn't even know they had that. I got the Raid Max Wasp and Hornet Spray, foaming Hornet Spray. Alright? That's like $6. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting the best stuff so I can handle that situation. Now, funny thing is, when I came back, the Wasp was gone. Okay? I don't know where she went to. I don't know whether something came through, swooped it up, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what. All I know is when I came back, it was gone. But I still managed to spray it, and I managed to get it down. Now, trying to get that thing out of there was really hard. I don't know what they build it out of. I guess they build it out of paper or something, or different kinds of materials. I don't know. But all I know is it was hard. Like, it was hard. Like, I tried to just kind of like swipe it. Like, I didn't use my hand or anything of that nature. I just used like the can. I tried to swipe it, and just kept swiping at it, trying to get it down, and that mud would not budge. So ultimately, what I ended up doing was I just ended up using some scissors. I just cut it from the top, and even that was hard. So anyway, man, be careful out there. These wasps. I guess this is the time of the year where they try to establish colonies or whatever, try to look for places and to build nests. And if you guys have been listening to the Cheap Truth for a while now, even though the podcast has only been around for what, 4 or 5 months, something like that. Guys, remember a while back I talked about cutting my bushes because last year it was like so unbearable. Like, I could not come outside without getting attacked by wasps. So I said, screw that. While it was cold, while it was wintry outside, I cut the muds down. Well, I cut them down. I didn't cut them all the way down, but I cut them down enough to where I won't have wasps floating around my doggone garage. So I guess since I cut them down, now they trying to look for other places to nest, because they can't do it in there. Because I'm on them. I'm on their ass if they try to get up in there, partner. And plus, it's an open space. I mean, they like to build their nests in like cool places. That's why they build them under like trees. They build them in trees. You might end up seeing some nests, or you might see some trying to build nests in like the corner of your house somewhere cool, kind of ducked off away from the sun. That's where they want to build a nest at. But see, they know they can't do that now, so now they're trying to get creative out here in these streets. But not around here. Not as long as I'm patrolling, because it ain't happening, partner. I'm gonna have my garage, and I'm gonna have my front yard for this upcoming season. Okay, the upcoming summer, upcoming spring. Well, for the spring, for the summer, for the fall. All right, so that's that. Just had to let y'all know. So anyway, that's enough about my wasp escapade. Let's talk about this draft, man. So the NFL draft came and went. We had the Cleveland Browns selecting Baker Mayfield #1 overall, man. So let's just hop right into it, man, because y'all know how me and Baker Mayfield get down, man. So if you guys recall, I said that the Browns would be the Browns, and they would be incompetent, and they would be stupid, and they would go ahead and select Josh Allen with the #1 overall pick in the draft. Okay. So the Browns were like, they must have heard the podcast, man. They must be listening to the Cheat Truth, man. Because they was like, oh, okay. You think we stupid? You think we can't get any more stupider than that? Okay. Hold my beer. Because they went off and they did the really stupid thing. They say, you know what, Justin, screw that, man. We gonna be real stupid out here in these streets. Out here in these streets, man. You know what I'm saying? These streets, not streets. We're gonna be real stupid out here in these streets, man. And we gonna take the limousine riding, running from the police, crotch grabbing, son of a gun that he is, Baker Mayfield. And they did it. Man, oh man, oh man. Well, what's that saying? The rich get richer and the poor get poor. straight up and down. Now, I understand. Okay, so first of all, I know I talk a lot of crap about Baker Mayfield for good reason. I think that he's Johnny Manziel 2.0. Even though I don't think that he's a one for one. Like he's not a mirror image of Johnny Manziel per se, but the similarities are just there. Like you can't run from there. You can't hide that at all. I understand that he's a very good player. I understand that he was very successful at Oklahoma. I understand that he could possibly be very successful in the league. My knock against him has always been, though, man, his attitude. His attitude, man. His emotions. He can't control his emotions, man. I just don't know if I'm going to make that guy my number one overall pick, man. I understand the guy has some skill. I managed to saw an interview on the NFL Network with Hugh Jackson and Mike Mayock, and they were talking about how Baker Mayfield ended up being the number one overall pick, and Hugh Jackson was like, well, he's a great thrower of the football. He has good ball placement, which I agree with. If you look at the tape, you look at the film, I mean, he does. I mean, Baker Mayfield throws a pretty good ball. There's no denying that the guy has skills. I mean, I'm not finna sit up here. I will not shortchange him on that. The guy has some skills, all right? No doubt about it. I mean, quarterbacking, Hugh Jackson said, he can throw the ball from different positions, which, I mean, you watch him play against his competition, I mean, that's dead on. I mean, he can throw it running outside the pocket. He can throw it sidearm. Like, he can throw it from, he can wing it, man. He can definitely wing it. And he can get the ball there. He can definitely play quarterback. Like, I'm not sitting up here saying he's a whack quarterback, anything of that nature. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback at all. Like, Hugh Jackson made some pretty good points. Now, he also said, well, we wanted him. We think that he could be a some type of like inspiration in the locker room. He could really lead the troops, rally the troops, and he did that at Oklahoma. I don't know the guy well enough to say that. Yeah, he'll end up doing that. He'll end up being somebody that guys rally around in the NFL. It's two different sets of individuals. I mean, you go out there with a whole bunch of college kids, and you going out here with a whole bunch of grown men trying to convince them that you can lead the team, man. I mean, good luck. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he can't. I understand what Hugh Jackson was saying with that, but I just feel like man, that was just I feel like there was more than just, oh yeah, he's a really good player. I believe that the Browns feel like, since they went 0-16 last year, which is terrible, they felt like they had to make a splash. Sam Darnold would not have been that big of a splash. I think it would have been the correct pick, even though I'm not that high on Sam Darnold at all. But he's a better pick than Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. And I think he has better chance of success in the league than Baker Mayfield. So I understand that they probably wanted to make a splash pick. Like, man, we can't just go with Sam Darnold. We can't go with Josh Rosen. Of course, Josh Rosen he already threw out hints that he didn't want to play for Cleveland. So they wanted to make a splash pick. They wanted to get people excited about Cleveland Browns football. And I think that was part of the reason. I think that trying to make a splash and trying to win the draft, per se, I think that was a driver in the selection, like as far as them picking Baker Mayfield. Now, I think that the majority of the reason that they picked him was because he was a good college player, and they really have confidence in him that he could really be a good franchise quarterback. He can lead them to the promised land. He could inspire teammates, like Hugh Jackson said, and they just think that he's a damn good player. But I think that we'd be kidding ourselves here if we didn't have reason to believe that, yeah, they also wanted to make this a splash pick. And that's what they did. So If I was a GM, I would not have touched Baker Mayfield in any round. I'm telling y'all, I've said this. I've been on this for I don't know how long. The duration of the cheap truth, however long we've been around, man. I just can't. I can't have you as my quarterback, man. Doing the things that Baker Mayfield has done, man. Saying the things that you've said, doing the things that you've done. I just can't. You can't be my quarterback doing that. It's one thing if you're a linebacker, okay? It's one thing if you're a defensive end. It's one thing if you're a safety. It's one thing if you're an offensive lineman. I don't need my quarterback running up and down the sideline, man, beating on his chest like King Kong. All right? I don't need that, man. I don't need you telling the opposing team what you're going to do to them before the game even starts. I don't need you doing that. I don't need you being, on the police cam or on camera getting, chased down by the police. All right, running from the police, getting tackled, getting chased by the police. All right, that's a bad situation for anybody to be in. I don't know if I necessarily want my quarterback doing that, man. I just don't know. I don't know, man. The Browns, they're taking a risk with this one, man. I think they are taking a risk. They are taking a risk here, and if they hit it at the park, great. They look smart as hell, but man, I'm telling you, it's hard for me, man. If I was GM, it would have been just very hard for me to do that. You feel me? Like, you gotta be able to control yourself out there on the field, man. You got to. You gotta be able to control yourself. On the field and off the field. You're telling people that, yeah, I didn't study Chargers playbook, when they tried to interview me or whatever, and just a whole bunch of signs, man. Like my boy Colin says, man, the drip effect. Drip. Like, people will show you over time. We all have that person. This is me basically repeating what he's saying, but it's such a good point. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everybody has their tendencies. We notice tendencies out of people, whether it's your cousin, your uncle, your mom, your dad, or whoever. You feel me? Over time, that's just who they are. You just recognize that that's just who they are. If they're constantly getting new jobs, that's just who they are. They're just going to constantly get new jobs. They keep getting fired. They keep getting divorces. They keep getting arrested. Drip. Baker Mayfield has shown you over time who he is, man. You got to believe him at some point. You got to believe him, man. You have to believe him. I'm not saying that he's a whack quarterback. I'm not saying, could he become something? Yeah. But me, I just, guys like that, man, especially a guy like that coming from a program like that in Oklahoma, used to winning. What you gonna do, man, when you go out there and let's say he ends up starting? That's another thing to talk about too, because I'm pretty sure Hugh Jackson and the organization will be under some type of pressure to go ahead and start Baker Mayfield. Me, I feel like if he's not ready, then you don't start him. But if him and Tyrod Taylor are sort of kind of close, as far as like the quarterback competition going in, then go ahead and start him. What you got to lose? You went 0-16 last year. Just throw him out there. But at the same time, you have to watch that, because you don't want to kill the guy's confidence. You got to think about it. A lot of these guys are just so used to being pampered their whole life, and they're so used to winning all the time. Remember Jalen Ramsey with the Jags? His rookie year, he's on the sideline crying. He's like, man, I'm just tired of all this losing. It's because he wasn't used to it. He used to winning, championship games, always being in the thick of things, always being successful, always being, just there, having success right there. They're not used to losing. Will Baker Mayfield be able to take that? Will he? To go 0-5, 0-6 with him as the starting quarterback, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna lash out publicly to coaches? about the coaches. He's going to lash out. He's going to say something controversial. He's going to flip off the opposing team's bench like Johnny Manziel did that time. He's going to run from the police some more. He's going to grab his crotch some more. I mean, I don't know. I'm just being a little colorful with that. But, I mean, seriously. Like, that's the thing, man. I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe the Browns, they know something that we don't know about Baker Mayfield. I wouldn't touch the guy. I would not have touched the guy. I would not have touched him. If I were the GM, I would have went ahead and selected Darnold at number 1. If Saquon Barkley had went number 2, then I would have went ahead and took Bradley Chubb at number 4. That's just what I would have done. But, hey, what do I know? I'm not a GM. But yeah, man, one thing that really it does create some excitement around the Browns. So I think that they got that part of it right. They have definitely created some excitement. I mean, you got Baker Mayfield, you signed Tyrod Taylor, you signed Jarvis Landry, you still got Josh Gordon, you still got Corey Coleman. They drafted this kid Antonio Callaway, who I'm a really big fan of. I mean, I think Antonio Callaway, I tweeted this out. I think Antonio Callaway can have a Tyreek Hill like impact on the Browns. Like, you guys remember how Tyreek Hill just kind of came out of nowhere? Like, who is this guy running 80 miles an hour, catching these passes, running out the backfield, running downfield, punt return, kick return? Like, who the hell is this guy, Tyreek Hill? I think Antonio Callaway can have that type of impact. I'm a real big fan of his. I'm not a big fan of what he's become off the field. But on the field, oh hell yeah. I mean, the dude got suspended for the entire year. And he still got an invite to the combine. Okay, think about that. He got suspended for the entire year. Him and a few other Florida players. Because some credit card scam or something. He got suspended for the entire year. And yet, still got invited to the combine. That should tell you something. The guy has major talent. So, they have that. Hey, if they hit on him, great. If they don't, hey, it was a 4th, 5th round pick, something like that. So, I mean, I think that it was worth the risk. Then they draft Nick Chubb in the 2nd round. That's my guy. Hey, I'm definitely not opposed to that. I mean, the Browns, if you're a Browns fan, you have some things to be excited about this year. I mean, then you got Hugh Jackson and Ty Haley. I think those guys, that offense is going to be something to watch this year, I think, man. Point blank, period. I mean, you're going to have some bombs going up. You're going to have some vertical passing. You're going to have some creativity going on. Between those two guys, man, Hugh Jackson and Ty Haley, I mean, we know what Ty Haley did. I mean, people get on him for his play calling. But, I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that Ty Haley's a good offensive coordinator. Like, I'm excited to see what the Browns are going to do this season. But that Baker Mayfield pick, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that pick, man. But, as always, we'll see what happens. And, like I said, if they end up hitting on them, then they end up hitting on them. And they look like geniuses. But I think that this is just another case of the Browns being the Browns. They're just being incompetent. Okay? And if they weren't going to take Baker Mayfield, then the Jets probably would have taken Baker Mayfield. Ain't no telling. Because incompetent organizations do incompetent things. And that's just the way it is. Okay? So, like I said, see what happens. Let's see here. Number 2 overall pick. That got kind of interesting right there. Saquon Barkley. Now, if I were GM, I wouldn't have made this pick. Okay? Because this was a damn good draft for running backs. I think that with the New York Giants position at number 2, they could have waited and they could have gotten a really good running back. I mean, even if they wanted to, let's say if they would have, let's say if they would not have taken Saquon Barkley, and they would have taken somebody else like Sam Darnold. Okay, well, you know what? You can just trade back into the first round and grab a Sony Michel. You know, I'm not. I don't necessarily hate the pick because I understand what they're doing. I think they're saying, hey, you know what? We were just 11-5 a couple seasons ago. Now, I think that was a lucky 11-5. I think that they kind of got lucky a little bit, but hey, they went 11-5 and they made the playoffs. They're saying, man, we still have a lot of that roster left. Okay, we still got Eli Manning. We got a quarterback. Even regardless how you feel about Eli Manning, I mean, he's still serviceable, I think. So they're like, okay, we got Eli Manning, Super Bowl winning quarterback. We got Odell Beckham. We know we're gonna have to pay him eventually. We got ODB. We got Sterling Shepard. We got Evan Ingram, who came on last year. Showed why he was worthy of that first round pick. We still got that defense. We still got some good pieces on defense. We got Janoris Jenkins. You know, hopefully Eli Apple can bounce back. You still got Landon Collins, all pro. You traded for Alec Ogletree from the Rams. You still got Olivier Vernon. You still got Snacks Harrison. I mean, you still have some really good parts on that defense. So maybe they're saying, well, you know what? Let's just add some more. Let's add a dynamic playmaker, a guy that we think will be dynamic, and Saquon Barkley, and let's just roll with it. Let's just go after it for the next 1 or 2 years, and let's see where that leads us. Because they may not have been that high on some of the quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just like, screw it. Let's just grab Saquon Barkley, best player available. You know, he fits a need. I mean, you can't run Orleans Darkway out there anymore. You just can't. You definitely can't run Andre Williams out there. And for y'all who don't know who the hell Andre Williams is, YouTube him. Okay? That guy is probably the worst running back I've ever seen make it to the NFL. Now, granted, I'm only 27 years old. Okay? He's pretty bad. He was pretty bad. Matter of fact, I think he actually did he get traded or something? I think he got traded to the Chargers. Or he got released by the Giants and got signed by the Chargers or something. But anyway, he's a free agent now. For good reason. Because that guy absolutely sucks. Look at a highlight reel of him, man. And it's astonishing that he actually has an NFL highlight reel. But look at the highlight reel of him, man. Tell me if it doesn't look like he's running in slow motion. It really looks like he's running in slow motion. Okay, he's running chopped and screwed. That guy is. I'm serious, y'all. Do this for me. If you guys don't act on anything that I tell you guys to act on this today. All right, look at him. And tell me how in the hell did he even make it to the league? How did he even last as long as he lasted? Which wasn't long. But how? Because that guy sucks. Okay? But back to my point. Saquon Barkley, he definitely filled the need. I understand that. But I felt like you could have filled that need in a later round. The NFL has shown us, man, you don't need to put all your your eggs in one basket, man. You don't have to, as far as running backs is concerned. I mean, look at all the running backs. I mean, LaShawn McCoy? He's not a first-round pick. Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing. He's not a first-round pick. Remember Arian Foster? Undrafted. I mean, Alvin Kamara. He wasn't a first-round pick. Look at the start. I mean, DeMarco Murray last year for the Titans. He's not a first-round pick. Derrick Henry. He's not a first-round pick. Lamar Miller, Houston Texans. He's not a first-round pick. David Johnson. Great running back for the Arizona Cardinals. He wasn't a first-round pick. I mean, what the NFL has shown you, man, that you can fill that position in later rounds. You don't have to take but I understand that you think that he's a generational talent. You think that he can be Marshall Faulk. And if he turns out to be Marshall Faulk, well, then I'll eat my words, man. But You can find guys in later rounds, bro. And I just think the Giants looked at this wrong. I think that would have been a perfect opportunity for them to trade down, maybe get some more picks. I'm pretty sure some quarterback thirsty team would have traded with them, especially when they saw that Baker Mayfield went number 1 overall and not Josh Allen or Sam Darnold. So, I'm not mad at the pick per se. I can't blame them, I guess, but I think that they could have went about it another way. And it's something about Saquon Barkley that just kind of, I'm not too high on Saquon Barkley. I'm not necessarily low on him. Like, I think that he'll come in and he'll make an impact. I mean, because he's just versatile. He's real versatile. Like, he doesn't have to just run the ball. I mean, he can return punts. He can return kicks. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He can run routes. Like, he is. I mean, he's a dual threat basically. Well, he's a multiple threat. He can hurt you on special teams. He can hurt you catching the ball out the backfield, and he can hurt you running the ball. But it's just something about Saquon Barkley, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just something's a little off with Saquon, man. I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it. I cannot quite put my finger on it with Saquon Barkley, man. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I mean, we've seen this. We've seen this happen before, right? Where everybody, this is a once in a lifetime generational talent. Remember they said the same thing about Trent Richards. Okay, remember they said that now. Now, I was never a fan of Trent Richards. I called him. I said he was gonna be a bust. People were comparing him to Adrian Peterson. I was like, what the hell? Y'all smoking. Ain't never been no dog on Adrian Peterson. So we've seen this before. We've seen these comparisons. We've seen guys get crowned basically before they even do anything in the league. There's another thing too about Saquon, man. Then I'm gonna get off this and I'm gonna continue on, man. I'll tell you guys something, man. I know I might sound like a hater here, man, but you know what? This is cheap truth, and I can say what I want to because that's just what I do, and that's what I deliver to y'all, the cheap truth. Saquon Barkley, man. Saquon Barkley, a pretty boy, man. Justin, you a hater. You just bad as you ain't no pretty. Hey, man. I'm just saying, man. Saquon Barkley, a little bit of pretty boy, man. Man, he got the pretty boy swag and the pretty boy face and the pretty boy hair and all that, man. You got the pretty boy. You just got the pretty boy swag about him. Now, I'm not saying he ain't tough. Look here. If you getting smashed around, what did they say? Playing running back is basically the equivalent of putting on shoulder pads, putting on the equipment and running yourself into a garage door like 40 times in a row. Like, yeah, that's playing running back. I don't know if you can be soft doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't necessarily be soft doing it. But I'm just saying, man, Saquon boy, a little bit of pretty boy, man. A little bit of pretty boy. Man, you see him going heads up with Cam Chancellor for 3-4 quarters, man. You think he gonna be able to do that? You think he gonna be able to withstand that beat and take that punishment? You think he gonna be able to go into Seattle and handle that Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor? You think he gonna be able to handle Luke Kuechly? Lining them up in the hole? You think he gonna be able to handle all that, man? I don't know. You think he gonna be able to handle Navarro Bowman out there in Oakland? Running around with him for 4 quarters, Von Miller, all these guys, man. I don't know, man. I got my doubts. I got my doubts, man. I'm not down that he's a good player. I'm just saying, man. He's a little bit of a pretty boy, man. A little bit of pretty boy swag. Okay, hey, do your thing. I ain't hating. I ain't mad. I'm just saying, man. Running back position. He's a pretty boy, man. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if he can line it up, man. Can he line it up against a Sean Lee or those guys in Philly? Okay, a Jim Schwartz defense. You ready for Fletcher Cox all game? Are you ready for that? You know what I'm saying? Like you ready for all that? You ready for a Malcolm Jenkins? I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with him. So that was the Giants pick. The Jets went ahead and selected Sam Darnold. That was a good pick, in my opinion. Even though I'm not that high on Sam Darnold, I think that the Jets made the right pick. Hey, get you a guy that could have went number 1 overall, and you get you a franchise quarterback, man. Tom Brady's going to retire in a little bit. He's going to end up retiring. He's going to retire one day. He ain't going to play forever. Somebody has to take over that division. Tom Brady's going to retire. Bill Belichick's going to retire. Somebody has to take over that division. That's what has to happen. So, you are putting yourself in a really good position by taking him with the number 3 overall pick. So, good play by New York. Number 4, you had the Browns selecting Denzel Ward. Once again, the Browns being the Browns here. But I'm not mad at this pick. I'm not necessarily down on it. But I just felt like, damn, you got Bradley Chubb there, man. If you can get a guy like that to pair with Myles Garrett to get out to the quarterbacks in your position in your division, man, I think you do it. But I guess I can I can see it. I can see the rationale behind it. I mean, they needed some more help in that secondary. And I mean, you get a guy like Denzel Ward. I mean, if he is, what everybody projects him to be, which is, he'll end up being a shutdown corner. Or at least a damn good cover corner. I mean, hey, it was worth it. You get a guy like that who can shadow your best receiver, take him out the game. I mean, there's always room for guys like that on rosters. You don't shy away from those guys. But, I mean, if you can get a guy who can also get after the quarterback, that's just as good as well. A guy who can get after the quarterback and who can play the run. Big, strong, athletic guy. I would have selected Bradley Chubb with that pick. But, hey, I'm not necessarily mad at that. I'm not mad at him for doing that. That's a better pick to me. That's a better pick, in my opinion, than Baker Mayfield. Like, I'm more okay with the Denzel Ward pick than the Baker Mayfield pick. That's just the way I feel about it. So the Broncos actually did take Bradley Chubb, and I think that was a really good pick. Can't really fault them for that. They decided to go ahead and get the best player available, in my opinion. They got Bradley Chubb. And they will pair him with Von Miller and Shane Ray and Derek Wolfe. And they will hopefully have what they had back when they won the Super Bowl, which is a damn good defense, damn good defensive line, leading the league in sacks. And that was their play. I cannot fault them for that pick. Solid pick. Nothing else to say there, really. The Colts selected Quentin Nelson, guard out of Notre Dame. I mean, man, you got to protect your franchise quarterback. He fit a need for sure. I'm thinking Bradley Chubb was there. They probably would have taken Bradley Chubb. I think that would have been the best play. It would have been the best pick. But Quentin Nelson was there. Cannot fault him for that. I mean, he'll help with the pass game, and he'll also help open up some running lanes. So, good for the Colts, man. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen, y'all know how I feel about Josh Allen. I think that he'll bust. I think that this is how much I dislike Josh Allen. I think that Josh Allen has a high chance of busting than Baker Mayfield. And y'all know how I feel about Baker Mayfield. I think that Josh Allen has a high chance of busting. I mean, we've seen this time and time again. I know I'm a broken record on this, y'all, but just hear me out with this, man. How many times do we have to see the big, strong-arm quarterback, the big, tall, strong-arm quarterback, not be able to make it in the league, bro? Or how many times do we have to see them just get relegated to clipboard duties? How many times do we have to see this? Because Ryan Mallett was the same guy. Paxton Lynch. I make this comparison every time I bring up Josh Allen. Josh Allen is another Paxton Lynch. That's what he is. He's another Paxton Lynch, man. Paxton Lynch couldn't even beat out Trevor Siemian. I'm amazed that the Broncos have kept him on the roster. Like, he couldn't even beat out Trevor Siemian. He's not going to start this year. Case Keenum will start. Paxton Lynch was supposed to be the same guy. Oh, athletic, big arm, strong arm quarterback. He can fling it. He can fling it, man. That big guy Paxton Lynch from Memphis, he can fling it, man. I want that guy on my team. He can fling it 70 yards. Look at him. Yeah, fling it 70 yards, and he's going back the other way. Oh, he can really drive that ball. Straight to the key to lead. Pick 6. Oh, look at that throw. He's throwing darts all across the field, and he's throwing them right to Malcolm Jenkins. He's throwing them right to Patrick Peterson. Oh, man, he really let it rip, though. He can really let it rip. Yeah, right to the opposing team. Right out of bounds. Right at the receiver's feet. Yep, that's what Josh Allen would be. The Bills are being the Bills. You guys remember on our episode we went through, me and my boy AC, we actually went through the AFC East and rattled off their records. And the Bills had one of like the worst records over the past like 15 years. And it's because of picks like this. That's why they're incompetent. That's why they won't be good. This is why. Okay, this is why. Because of picks like this. So much for that. Chicago Bears, they made a solid pick with Roquan Smith. I'm a big Roquan Smith fan. Not just because he went to UGA, but the guy is just a playmaker. He's a baller, bro. Like, you want to talk about sideline to sideline, instinctive, damn good tackler, smart player. I mean, Chicago Bears, we know the history with Chicago and these linebackers, right? Guys like Dick Butkus, Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs. I mean, they even got some good ones up in there now, Danny Trevathan. So, Roquan Smith, you add Roquan Smith to the mix, man, it just get better. So, good pick for Chicago. San Francisco, they picked Mike McGlinchey. I don't know about that pick. I'm not too keen on the 49ers and their needs. I guess, they ended up picking this guy, and then they traded their starting tackle, so I guess that was the plan all along. So, I don't really know what to say about this pick. Hadn't really watched a lot of Mike McGlinchey. I know he was projected to probably go in like the latter part of the draft, so I guess they felt like he was worthy of taking. I mean, hey, you feel like you got your franchise quarterback, well, you got to protect him. So, I'm not really mad at this pick. Me personally, I probably would have went defense, but I can't fault them for saying, you know what, we got a lot invested in Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's make sure we protect him. Let's make sure we do everything in our power to protect him. So, number 10, Arizona actually moved up to get Josh Rosen. I like this pick. You look at the NFC West, man. Slowly but surely, they've become a division to be reckoned with. As far as like quarterbacks in the future, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I said, we can't necessarily crown him now, but based on what he did last year, I can't fault the guy. He did well. Okay, if he lives up to the hype, you got Jimmy Garoppolo, you got Russell Wilson, you got Jared Goff, and now the Arizona Cardinals, they've thrown their hat into the ring, basically, and they've gotten Josh Rosen. I think that there was a good pick. They didn't have to move up a lot. They didn't have to give up a king's ransom to move up. That's perfect. They ended up in a perfect situation to me. Now, I don't like the fact that they gave Sam Bradford $20 million, which that tells me that I need to. I'm telling you, man, when I saw that made me want to, build me a doggone facility in my backyard or something and hire me a trainer. I'm going to learn how to throw the football. If Sam Bradford out here getting $20 million for 1 year, Sam Bradford probably ain't even going to make it out the bus. Sam Bradford probably won't make it to the third preseason game. And he's getting paid $20 million. I think it's 20 million. I think like 15 million guaranteed. Boy, I'm telling you, if it's two guys in this world that I want to be friends with, okay, who I would love to be friends with, that would be Matt Stafford and Sam Bradford. You want to talk about some guys who'd have made some chicken, okay? Them two dudes right there. I mean, what? When they came into the league, that's when that was before the rookie wage scale. That's when guys were getting like 40 mil guaranteed on their first contract. Like, they were coming into the league making more than veterans. They were holding out of camp. Hadn't proven anything in the world. Hadn't proven anything in the league. But they were holding out. So, I would love to be friends with them. I mean, because they done got some chicken, boy. I mean, sweet G. Sam Bradford getting paid $20 million this year. 1 year. After all the injury history. All of that, man. He is getting paid. He is getting paid 20 mil. Y'all ain't hearing me. 20 mil. Man, I swear, man. I need to get out here, man. I need to do me some push-ups. I need to do me some sit-ups. I need to get on my Steven Seagal-ish. I need to hire me a trainer. I need to get me some cleats. I need to get me some equipment. I need to become a quarterback, man. I need to throw my hat in the ring, bro. That's what need to happen. If Sam Bradford had to get $20 million. But anyway, back to Josh Rosen. I think this was a good pick. I actually like Josh Rosen. You know, he's one of those guys who's just outspoken. But I feel like, even though he's outspoken, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it. You feel me? Like, he's not like Baker Mayfield. He's getting all emotional on the sideline, anything of that nature. The guy just has a lot to say. I don't know if I'm not gonna ding him too much for that. But I understand some people, some organizations, they don't like that. I mean, we see that with Colin Kaepernick not being in the league. There's a whole nother ball of wax. But yeah, solid pick by Arizona. They got a franchise quarterback, and they didn't have to give up a king's ransom to go get him. So anytime you can do that, I mean, bro, that's great. That's great. Good pick by the Cardinals. Miami Dolphins, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah, I don't see the hype with Minkah Fitzpatrick, man. I really don't. I don't. I just don't, man. I don't see it. Maybe I didn't watch enough Alabama football last year. Maybe that's what it is. I just, anytime I watch Alabama, he really just didn't pop out on my screen. Like, he just doesn't strike me as being that big of a deal. I'm not saying he can't be solid. I'm not saying he can't be a good player. I'm not saying he can't be in the league for like 6-7 years. But he just doesn't strike me as the type of guy that everybody's trying to convince me that he's going to be. He just doesn't strike me as that type of guy. Like, he doesn't strike me as, like, when I saw Landon Collins in college, try saying that 5 times fast. I saw Landon Collins in college. When I saw him in college, and I saw them Alabama games, he popped out on my screen. Always popped out. Landon Collins was just always around the ball. That's why I just laughed when people were trying to call him a bust his first year. I'm like, y'all crazy. Now, granted, he did have a rough year his first year. But I just knew what I saw at Alabama. I'm like, dude's just always around the ball, always making plays, always making interceptions. Oh, there's Landon Collins, interception. There's Landon Collins, dislodging the ball. There's Landon Collins, recovering a fumble, running into, like, he just was a ball hawk. Like, he was just always around the ball. I don't know about Minkah Fitzpatrick, man. I don't know. I think he's going to end up in D. Milliner territory. Remember how good D. Milliner was supposed to be? I think Minkah Fitzpatrick end up being like that. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do him like that. He'll have a career. I'm going to put it like that. But as far as him being transformative, being perennial all-pro, stuff like that, I don't see it out of him. You know, one thing about those Alabama players, too, and it's been reported pretty often, Nick Saban burns those guys out. By the time they get to the league, they're hurt, they're burnt out, all those practices, getting yelled at. I mean, they get that they get it down there in Alabama. Now they win a lot, but they end up getting pretty burnt out before they get to the league. So we'll see what happens with Minka Fitzpatrick. Tampa Bay, I don't necessarily dislike the pick. I mean, if I were them, I would have taken Derwin James because they need some help in their secondary, but not necessarily mad at that. Washington Redskins, Daron Payne. I don't know what to think about Daron Payne. I mean, he kind of caught fire, I guess, toward the end of the year last year. Had some, I guess he was the one who had that touchdown in the playoffs or whatever, catching the pass. But I guess that's a solid pick, and I guess it fit a need for the Redskins. New Orleans Saints, Marcus Davenport. Now, I was very confused when this happened. Because when I heard the Saints were moving all the way up like that, and they actually traded a first-round pick, a future first-round pick, I thought that they were going to select Lamar Jackson. And I think a lot of other people thought that they were going to select Lamar Jackson too. I'm like, okay, well, this got to be a quarterback. I mean, whenever you see something like that, yeah, they're moving up for a quarterback. You feel me? Like, Kansas City moving all the way up for Patrick Mahomes. Houston moving all the way up for Deshaun Watson. I mean, you just don't really see teams moving up like that for Marcus Davenport. So, I'm kind of torn on this pick because, I mean, I still think that was too much to give up for a non-quarterback. All right, you can't do that for a non-quarterback. I mean, when they did it, I mean, if you guys watch the draft and if you follow it a little bit, you thought that they were about to take Lamar Jackson, no doubt about it. They were about to take Lamar Jackson. They moving up that far. They are about to take a quarterback. All right, even if it wasn't Lamar Jackson, they about to take quarterback. But instead, they take Marcus Davenport. Now, I'm not saying Marcus Davenport is good. I'm not saying he won't be good. But I don't know, man. Now, on the flip side, I could see them taking him. Maybe they're saying, well, you know what? We got Drew Brees. We got a Hall of Fame. We think that we can get about 2 more years out of Drew Brees. Okay? So why not just go for a guy that we think could impact our team immediately? Not just immediately, but in the future, too. So we could go ahead and give away this guy. I mean, give away some ammo. Give away some of our picks. Give away our future first round pick. Give away that and acquire this guy. And he's going to help us win immediately. We got our quarterback. We got a running back tandem. We got a pretty good offensive line. We got good wide receivers. We got some good defensive personnel. We drafted Lattimore last year. I mean, we got Cameron Jordan. We still have him. So, I mean, we were just one fluky play away from playing the Eagles for the NFC Championship game. And who knows what would have happened in that game. Would Nick Foles have done the same thing against the Saints? Who knows? Maybe they feel like, man, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go for it. We got our quarterback. We got the cap room. Okay? We have a little time on our hands. We have a couple years. We think that we have a couple years here. Let's just go for it. So maybe that was their rationale. But I just don't think you move up that far and you give up all that for a non-quarterback. Would Marcus Davenport have been there at that pick? Probably not. But, I mean, you probably could have waited and got somebody else. But, hey. Once again, we'll see what happens with him. Oakland Raiders, Colton Miller. I thought the Raiders had a good offensive line already. But maybe I was wrong. Don't got too much to say about that. Buffalo Bills, Tremaine Edmonds. That's a good pick. Nothing else to say about that. The Chargers taking Derwin James. That's a damn good pick in my opinion. I like Derwin James. He's going to be one of those Cam Chancellor-esque guys. just gonna lay the wood, fast, athletic, making plays all over the field. I mean, I think that adding him to the Chargers, I mean, you got Melvin Ingram on the line, and you got Joey Bosa on the line. I mean, you add a guy like that, along with Casey Hayward and Jason Verrett. The Chargers are, I mean, they're building the defense slowly but surely. They're putting together a pretty good defense. So Derwin James can round that out, man. I think that's a solid pick. That is a very solid pick by the Chargers. Derwin James could have easily went like number 8 overall. He could have went to the Bears. He could have went to the Niners. So to get a guy like that at that position, number 17, that's a good pick. That's a really good pick right there. Green Bay Packers select. Still trying to see, how do you pronounce the name? Jari or Jari Alexander, the cornerback from Louisville. I think that's a solid pick. Saw a few Louisville games last year, so he was one of those guys that jumped out on the screen. So I think that was a solid pick by Green Bay. Feel the need. Seems like Green Bay has been struggling trying to shore up their secondary for a minute. I mean, they selected Demarius Randall with like a first-round pick a couple years back or whatever, and they already traded him to Cleveland. So that they're constantly trying. They're still trying. They're trying to hit, and I think that they hit with this one. I think that he will be a solid addition to the Packers team. Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State, linebacker. Now, for all y'all Cowboys fans out there, man, y'all know what I told y'all to do. I told y'all to go to Jerry Jones, and I told y'all, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, trade back and draft Hayden Hurst. Or you know what? Go ahead and draft Hayden Hurst right there. Now, I said that this pick should either be a linebacker because you can't trust Sean Lee. Sean Lee was healthy for one season. He played all 16 games, which is a miracle, right? Now, they did pretty well that year. You know, won a division, went to the playoffs, lost in the first round, but they went to the playoffs. Okay? Good year. Now, if I were running the Cowboys, I would have selected Hayden Hurst. Now, we hear these reports about Jason Witten and how he's teetering on retirement. Jason Garrett trying to talk him out of it. I mean, that just further proves my point that they should have selected a tight end. I don't know much about this guy. From what I've heard, he's supposed to be like a Brian Urlacher. And I mean, if he ends up being Brian Urlacher or anything similar to him, I mean, you did well. They did well. You know, this probably isn't the first time that people have questioned the Dallas Cowboys in one of their first round picks. You know, I think people were. I think when they selected, oh man, what's the guy's name? I forgot the guard. It was one of those offensive linemen, and everybody was just like, "Huh?" Like, what are you talking about? But now he's like an All-Pro. So, I mean, I would have taken a tight end because I really would like to see what Dak could do with a tight end, bro. Seriously, with an athletic tight end. I would like to see that offense with an athletic tight end. I would like to see Dak with that type of weaponry. You know, a guy who can threaten you vertically, a guy who can run, a guy who can catch jump balls. Like just a toy, another toy to play with, man. But I can't really fault them for this pick because it was a position that they had to fill because they can't trust Sean Lee. You can't have your season teetering. You can't have your season teetering on Sean Lee's health. You just can't. Oh, Sean Lee's out. Well, there goes the season. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't. You can't have that. That's not a good. You just can't have it. So, not really mad at the pick, but I would have taken a guy like Hayden Hurst. And you got Jason Witten talking about he retiring, which just enforces what I told y'all. Take Hayden Hurst. Give Dak some more toys to play with. And also you get a guy who's a good blocker. Good worker, good blocker, mature. And you give your quarterback that safety blanket. But not mad at the pick. So Detroit Lions, my team. We took Frank Ragnow, Ragnow. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Ragnow. Center from Arkansas. I'm not really mad at this pick. I probably would have taken the best defensive lineman or the best defensive player. But, from looking at this guy, looking at his highlights, the guy's like massive. He didn't give up a sack his entire career at Arkansas. That's something to be said. The thing that we've never really had a good running game for Stafford. So having a center like this, who's supposed to be as talented as he is, that can show up the running game. If you look at a lot of good running games in the league and in history, good offensive lines, period, they usually have a pretty good center. You know what I'm saying? Like they have a pretty good center. So if this guy can end up being what he was at Arkansas, I think he got injured. That's what kind of scared some teams off. So they're not for sure if how healthy he would be. But solid pick. I like it. I'm not necessarily against it. So good pick by the Lions. The Bengals select Billy Price from Ohio State. I'm not finna sit up here and act like I know a lot about him. I guess that was a good pick. They feel the need, I guess. Tennessee Titans, Rashawn Evans from Alabama. Another one of these Alabama guys that came out this year that I really don't know a lot about, man. That I can't say for sure if they're gonna be good or not. When I watch Alabama and Rashawn Evans, did he really pop out on my screen? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about some of these Alabama players, man. What we see out of some of these guys that come out of Alabama is that they perform well at Alabama. They get picked in the draft. They get drafted, but they really don't do much. Like, they get drafted, but they really don't do much. So, I don't know. Will he be another one of those guys that just doesn't do a lot, or will he be great? I don't know. New England Patriots, they selected Isaiah Wynn. They needed a tackle. Nate Solder went to the Giants, so that filled the need. I like the pick. I like Isaiah Wynn, not just because he went to Georgia. Okay. I think that he's a pretty good pick. I like that pick. Carolina Panthers, they select DJ Moore. They traded away Kelvin Benjamin, so they decided to get a little younger, a little more dynamic, I guess. DJ Moore. I actually like DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore ended up probably being the best wide receiver in his class. So he'll definitely be able to help Cam Newton now if Cam Newton can get him the ball on a consistent basis. But I think that's a good pick by Carolina. Baltimore Ravens, Hayden Hurst. Y'all know how big a fan I am of Hayden Hurst. That's a damn good pick. Nothing else need to be said. I think that's a good pick. Atlanta Falcons, Calvin Ridley. Now, I'm not a big Calvin Ridley fan. Another one of these Alabama guys that I don't see the big hype around. I guess because he's fast, which he is fast. People talking about him being the number one wide receiver in the draft. I don't see it. I'm not that high on him. I don't think that he's going to translate well to the NFL. He reminds me of John Brown. He's going to make some contributions, okay? He's going to make contributions. He's going to contribute. But I don't see him as being, like, I don't see Calvin really taking over a game like a Julio Jones. Like, he's not going to, Calvin really, man, 9 receptions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, I don't see him being that type of guy. But now, the thing is, Julio Jones, for as good as he is a little snake bit. And you see that out of a lot of big receivers like that. You see that out of a lot of big receivers like this sometimes. Especially as they get older. Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson, those types of guys, man, those big physical freak of nature wide receivers. They start getting hurt later on in their career. I even think it happened with T.O. You know what I'm saying? They start getting a little more dinged up as their career goes along. So, I can see Calvin really playing his position, playing a big role in the offense. You still got Mohamed Sanu. You got Julio Jones. So you round that out with Calvin Ridley. I think you have a pretty good That's a solid pick in my opinion. I'm still not that high on Calvin really, but I think it's a good fit. And sometimes it may not necessarily be, all about the player as much as it is about where the player goes. So I think that this is a pretty good place for him to be. He doesn't have to come in. Nobody's going to expect him to be the number one receiver. I think that would have been a bad situation. Like if he would have got drafted by somebody and, yeah, we're going to bring Calvin Ridley in. He's going to be our number one receiver. I think that's a bad idea. But he's going to come in here. He's going to be a part of an offense that still has Matt Ryan, still got Julio Jones, still got Mohamed Sanu. You still got Devontae Freeman, still got Tevin Coleman. I mean, you still got all those pieces that basically got you to the Super Bowl. Now, is Sark going to be able to use them? Yeah, that's another thing. That's a whole nother ball of wax. But even though I'm not that big a fan of Calvin Ridley, I like the fit. It's a really good fit. Seattle Seahawks up there smoking their goody good because they selected Rashad Penny. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I mean, I guess if he ends up being their replacement to Marshawn Lynch, if he ends up being a perennial All-Pro and a Hall of Fame one day, then they made the right decision. I'm not saying Rashad Penny isn't good. I'm not saying that he doesn't project to be a good running back, but I think that Rashad Penny probably would have been there in later rounds. So I don't understand what they were doing with this one. I think you had some better players on the board that you could have selected. So I don't necessarily understand that one. I think that this was a reach, and we see those every year in the draft, man. You see teams reach for players, they panic, they think that they won't be able to get them in certain rounds. I think that this was a major reach by the Seahawks. I mean, I think this took everybody by surprise when they made this pick. Like, really, Rashad Penny? I mean, seriously? I mean, they could have taken the kid from Florida, Taven Bryan, or somebody else, Mike Hughes. I would have. I mean, if they wanted to take a running back, hell, it could have taken somebody like Sony Michel, Darius Geis, or Nick Chubb. Like, I wouldn't crucify him for something like that. But Rashad Penny, he would have been available in later rounds. So that was a major reach by Seattle. Pittsburgh, Terrell Edmonds. I'm not finna sit up here and act like I know a lot about him. I just know that he's the brother of I forgot the dude's name already. The other guy from Virginia Tech that got drafted, Tremaine Edmonds. He's the brother of him, of his, and I don't know a lot about him. Pittsburgh, they've constantly tried to address this defense. Remember, they drafted Bud Dupree. They drafted Artie Burns. They drafted T.J. Watt, Ryan Shazier. I mean, they've tried Jarvis Jones back in the gap. He flamed. I mean, they're trying. Pittsburgh, they are trying. Now, I'm not too sure about this guy, but if I trust the things that I read and the analysis that I've heard, then this was a reach by Pittsburgh. But they're trying. Pittsburgh's trying. They are trying to address their defense. I mean, you look at a lot of the draft picks over the past few years, it has been defense heavy. So they're trying, man. Jacksonville Jaguars, Taven Bryan. If I were them, I probably would have taken Lamar Jackson. I would have given Blake Bortles some competition. I don't know a lot about Taven Bryan, but I guess he was probably the best player available, or probably the highest rated player on their draft board at the time. I can't really fault him for that pick, but if I were them, I probably would have went offense. I would have went offense. I'm not for sure who all they have down there playing receiver. Maybe a Cortland Sutton, end of the first round, maybe. Maybe that would have been a good pick. Maybe you take a guy like Sony. Well, no, you have Leonard Fournette, my bad. But, yeah, Lamar Jackson put some fire up under Blake Bortles. Why not? What do you have to lose? You still got that defense. I mean, you're going to have that defense. I mean, you got a lot of those dudes tied up in the contract. So, I mean, why the hell not? Get you a guy that's gonna compete. Get you a guy that really there's no pressure for him to start. You just pay Blake Bortles, so you can sit him for a while. But not really mad at the pick. Taven Bryan from Florida, defensive tackle. Minnesota, Mike Hughes. The rich get richer, the poor get poor. Mike Zimmer gets him another cornerback. He'll be paired with Xavier Rhodes. Solid pick. Minnesota scaring me as a Detroit Lions fan again because they just keep hitting on these damn draft picks. Damn, they keep hitting on them. And New England ended up taking Sony Michel, kind of a surprise right there because the Patriots usually don't spend those type of resources. They don't spend like first round picks on running backs at all. So to see them take Sony Michel, they must really value him, and they must really feel like that he can come in and make an impact and kind of give them that extra gear in the running game, especially with Deion Lewis being gone. And Baltimore traded back into the first round with the Eagles to grab Lamar Jackson. Now, remember I said, and I was almost right, I said that the Giants, if they selected Saquon Barkley, they would trade back into the first round to grab Lamar Jackson. And I was so close. Just so happened, it happened to be the Ravens. It was the Ravens instead of the Giants. I was so close. So the Ravens trade back into the first round, man. They grabbed Lamar Jackson. I think that's a solid pick. He won't be under any pressure to start. Joe Flacco, they still got him under contract. He's played pretty poorly the past few years. But he definitely won't be under any pressure to start. He can sit back. He can learn. He can sit back and learn. I think that the Baltimore fans will embrace Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to a place where he will be embraced. And I've said this before. You have to go somewhere. Lamar Jackson's going to have to go somewhere where they really want him. You don't want to end up in a situation like Vince Young ended up in with a coach that really didn't want him. You feel me? Like, you don't want to end up in a situation like that. And that's what I was kind of afraid of for Lamar Jackson, that he would end up in one of those situations like Vince Young. But I think that he's in a situation where the team actually wants him. They want him. They traded up to get him. Traded back into the first round to get him. Like what he's about. Think that they can make something out of him. So I think that that's a solid pickup for the Ravens. And I'm excited to see what Lamar Jackson can do. Excited to see what he can do. Excited for him to get out on the field. And I think that he will come in. He will be humble. He will learn. And he will definitely be coachable. And I think that he could ultimately have some success at the next level. So good for him, man. So those are my thoughts on the draft, pretty much. I could get a little deep into it, but I won't. As far as like some of the later round picks, I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I will at another time. Maybe I will Friday. I tack on some additional things. It's kind of ran a little longer than I thought it was. I had some NBA topics lined up, but what I may end up doing is don't hold me to it. All right. I may end up recording an NBA show tomorrow and then putting it out Wednesday. So it just depends on how I feel. If not, then I'll save it for Friday's show. But I definitely wanted to give you guys my opinions on the draft, the whole Baker Mayfield thing. The Giants taking Saquon Barkley. Just my reactions to the draft, man. So good draft. I enjoyed looking at it, enjoyed the analysis. I always enjoy that stuff, man. I always get excited about it. It's getting warm. The weather has been beautiful the past few days, man. Hey, man, we getting there. Real talk, man. The finals will be here. The NBA finals will be here sooner than you realize. Before you know it, May 1st is here. Cinco de Mayo, Saturday. I mean, the year's passing on by, man. Before you know it, college football will be here and pro football will be here, man. But, yeah, man. Glad to be back. Glad to be back in you guys' ear. I appreciate the support. Anybody out there listening, family, friends, random people I don't know, True Nation, man. I ain't stopping. We ain't stopping. Because we won't stop, because we can't stop, all right? In the words P. Diddy. But anyway, man, thanks for listening. And, I would definitely talk to you guys on Friday and maybe Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow the Facebook page, man. Make sure you follow all that. The Twitter page. So you won't miss an episode. So, as always, man, stay up. Be safe out there. And I will talk to you guys on Friday. Maybe Wednesday. Peace.